Hey everybody, today is Saturday, the 5th of November. Um, I'm going to talk a little bit about DC Universe Online, but first let me say I really like the combination of using the rifle weapon style with fire powers, going the immolation tree. You know, you can shoot people at range all day, awesome, do abilities where you can basically stun lock them, uh, and then if you get too many bad guys around you, you just nuke them. I mean, it's just great. Um, So, anyways, I finally had a significant block of time where I was able to play the game, give it a fair shake. I'm playing a character who works for Joker right now. Figured it was an interesting change of pace. So, what wound up happening is the game had a really rocky transition from subscription only to free to play. The servers being up and down the last couple of days. I'm really pleased that the development team for DCUO managed to get things nailed thus far. I'm quite sure that this isn't the end of our problems because, well, pretty much the game is still in its infancy. They did a free to play changeover very early in this game's development, relatively speaking. I mean, you know, we're looking at D&D Online, Lord of the Rings Online, Champions Online, City of Heroes. I mean, the a lot of games are going free to play with cash options, and I'm behind that model. I really do like it. So, but I mean, if we look at Lord of the Rings Online, they went free to play very late in their build, and there were very few issues that I picked up. I played the beta for free to play, and then when it went live, I continued playing, and it was a lot of fun. And yeah, I didn't detect any real significant issues. Um, Likewise with well, thus far Star Trek Online, it's a pretty young game. It's not yet 2 years old. It'll be 2 years in February, and it's going free to play sometime between now and February. So I'm expecting it pretty much around Christmas time, honestly, but probably January. That said, uh, so but DC Universe Online is. I'm going to compare it to the other two superhero style games. I've played Champions and I've played City of Heroes. City of Heroes is like a blast from the past. It's older. The interface is older. Um, it's difficult to pick up without having an idea. And it has a bit of a learning curve compared to modern games. That's all fine, well and good. I'm hip. I'm pretty good at teaching myself how to play a game. Champions, you pick it up, bam, 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 cakewalk. I mean, honestly, it's a modern game, easy to play, easy to understand. I mean, they even highlight the stats you should keep an eye out for your particular build. I mean, it's great. Um, DCUO, a lot better eye candy than the other two games. I'm not gonna lie. It's using the Unreal Engine, from what I can understand. Man, Epic Mega Games must be making bank off of that engine. I swear. But so it has a graphical appearance that's very pleasing. It has a very high enemy respawn rate, which makes it really easy to get your objectives taken care of. Also, whether or not you're in a group, if you're on hand, like if you and another player are not even in a group and you're both shooting at the same guy and he goes down, you both get your own loot. You both get credit, as far as I can tell. I haven't heard any complaints about kill stealing. Also, if you run up to a thing to activate it and someone else runs up to activate it, as long as you're like literally like right next to that thing, you'll both get credit for it, as far as I can tell. Because I've run up to something to activate it and someone's activated it away from me, or stolen it essentially, and I've gotten credit for it because I was right there when it happened. So it's kind of like everybody's on the same team in a way, but you don't have to group. That's a really great way of doing things. Um, uh, Grouping is not as easy as it is in, say, Star Trek Online, where literally there's a mechanic where you warp into a zone and bam, you're in a pickup group. I mean, it's not as easy as, you know, walking into an area, but and so you got to do the chat thing. Part of the problem I have with the game, the chat engine, meh. I mean, basically, I could play the entire game and not bother with it. I could play the entire game thus far and not need a group. Although you will get KO'd every now and again, but it's gonna happen. So, what did I say? Graphically, it's a beautiful game, and I've got it turned down. Some of the mechanics are amazingly brilliant for an MMO. It's chopped down on kill stealing and objective stealing, and basically you can. It's just great, great idea all around. So, I mean, I understand the game's had a bit of a rough patch the last couple of days, but I'm willing to give it, a fair shake. I need to see it when it's working optimally to compare it to when it isn't. And server difficulties are kind of those, what do insurance companies call them? Act of God kind of things. There is no guide to making an MMO. There is no one way of doing it. There is no instruction manual on what happens, what should I do if this happens to my game. If your game crashes, you have to spend time and resources to identify the purpose or the reason behind said crash. And if you can't reproduce it reliably, then it might be something entirely different from what your team is coming up with. So, or, it's something's happening off to the side and you're not sure what the hell's going on. Basically, that's what the devs told us. They didn't know what the hell was going on with the server. They didn't have any clues. So they installed software last night, and over the night they seem to have banged out the problem. But like I said earlier, I don't think we're out of the woods yet, so chill. But also, the game did take a massive hit of players. Something like over 100,000 people logged in the last few days. So, I mean, everyone wants to give the game a spin, and dropping it too early is not a fair shake. That said, I'm a Star Wars Galaxies player, so I have a legendary subscription through the 31st. Don't have to pay a dime, and I have access to everything, which is all well and good because Star Wars: The Old Republic announced their plans for the early game access, and it is up to 5 days before. So December 15th, I'll be saluting Galaxies and signing into Tor. Yeah. And I'll be uninstalling several games from my computer. Among those will unfortunately be City of Heroes and Champions Online and probably DC Universe Online, if I haven't done it by then. But to be perfectly honest, I'm having a lot more fun with DC Universe Online than I ever did with Champions or City of Heroes. DCUO is a much more active game. Now, it has a streamlined interface, and I wish I could tool it so that I could do a few more things with my keyboard rather than moving around and activating up to 8 abilities. Like, if the PC gamers could have a double toolbar and could put some of those extra weapon skills onto the toolbar, like, as a brawler, doing a double hold with my left mouse button makes no sense to me. At all. It is not easy to do, to time that just right, and it winds up making me frustrated with the build I chose to play. So, thus far, I'm a big fan of the rifle. Big fan. Just because it's context sensitive. The closer you are to an enemy, the different things you do, farther away, different things, and it's just, amazing. So great. I'll have to show it sometime later on. Yeah, I don't feel like doing it today. But, so overall, I'm very pleased with DC Universe Online. I understand the server issues. I understand the glitches and the bugs. This game is, like 10 months old? Something like that. So, yeah, I get it. I get it a lot. And I am perfectly willing to wait while they sort things out. Not saying I don't like waiting, but, yeah. There it is. So anyways, I highly recommend giving the game a spin. They seem to have ironed out the server problems. Give it a few more days, maybe. But yes, until next time.